America has a wealth inequality problem. Right now, just 1/5 of Americans own 85% of the nation's wealth, while the rest of the country shares just 15%. And 2/5 of Americans own almost no wealth at all. Meanwhile, these three guys own more wealth than the bottom half of the country combined. That's 3 men with more wealth than 160 million people. And due to America's racist institutions, from American slavery that lasted for over 200 years, followed by Jim Crow laws that unequally separated blacks and whites, and our modern racist institutions that continue to this day, it's been nearly impossible for black families to build wealth in America. As a result, the median white family now has 10 times the wealth of the median black family. And while many Americans want to believe that the rich got there through hard work and determination,
but the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Just working a little bit harder than other people.
The 1% work harder.
The data tells a different story. Right now, just 4% of kids born into the bottom quintile make it to the upper class as adults. By comparison, 40% of kids born in the upper class stay there. Meaning in America, children born into wealthy parents are 10 times more likely to be wealthy as adults. This is because the rich have access to capital at a young age that they use to invest in themselves through education, buying a home, or starting a business. Their childhood wealth begets new wealth and compounds over time. But what if we could ensure that all young Americans had the access to the capital they need to invest in themselves and build wealth? That's exactly what Senator Cory Booker and Representative Ayanna Pressley's baby bonds bill would do. Their bill would work by setting up a government-run savings account for every baby born in America and deposit $1,000 at birth. From there, money would be added each year based on a child's parents' income. A child living below the poverty line would have $2,000 added, while a child living in the upper class would have nothing added at all. These accounts would take advantage of interest, and money would be added every year until a child turned 18. The end result would look something like this. A child living their entire life below the poverty line would come into about $46,000 at the age of 18, while a child living their entire life in the upper class would come into just $1,700, with every other possibility in between. Non-coincidentally, these funds could be spent on education, buying a home, or starting a business, all activities that help build wealth. And because Black and Hispanic children are more likely to grow up in poverty, they would receive a higher portion of the benefit, on average receiving nearly twice as much as the average white child. As a result, a baby bonds program could put a massive dent in the racial wealth gap, raising median young Black wealth by nearly 20-fold, from 2,900 to over 57,000. However, as the graph shows, wealth rises for young Americans across the board. In short, baby bonds could reduce wealth inequality and narrow the racial wealth gap, all while growing the entire American economy. And amazingly, it could do this for just $82 billion a year, less than half the cost of the Trump tax cuts. Of course, baby bonds can't solve all of America's wealth problems on its own. The ideal racial wealth gap is not at all, and fighting wealth inequality will take more than just one bill. But baby bonds could be a giant step in the right direction, and it's a step America desperately needs to take.